You know, I'll be the first to admit it. I am an out and proud word snob. There are a lot of words in psychology and mental health that get misused in casual conversation, but one that's like nails on a chalkboard for me is the word antisocial. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Brett Pearce, child psychologist, here today with another general educational video, mostly on the subject of psychology in general, not necessarily specifically about kids this time, although there's going to be a follow-up video on the subject that does pertain to kids. So today I'm all dressed up because I was taking some photographs for my new blog. There will be a blog post accompanying this video, and you'll be able to access that blog down in the description below. There'll be a link. Antisocial. What does the word really mean? There's confusion abound. You know, when most people say the word social, they are referring to things like cocktail parties, small talk, thank you cards, please and thank you, things like that. Nothing wrong with those things in the least. However, when a psychologist type, mental health professional, is referring to the word social, we are not referring to small talk, cocktail parties, birthday parties, and things like that. We are referring to more core aspects of what it means to be a social critter, which is to say, to have some sense of concern for others, to have some ability to connect with others, and to empathize with others. So the term antisocial, when it was created, it referred to, and still refers to, a very, very, very sinister and disturbing set of characteristics that can exist in some people wherein they are able to basically violate other people's rights without any sense of remorse or any sense of real concern for their behavior. We're talking about bigger ticket stuff like lying, cheating, stealing, conning, assaulting, even worse things that perhaps don't bear mentioning in a video like this. Indeed, there is a diagnosis called antisocial personality disorder in the DSM-5. And it is a big ticket diagnosis. It is not a small little thing. When most people, though, refer to antisocial, what they usually mean is that the person is maybe reclusive, introverted, shy, socially awkward, weird, things like that. Antisocial really refers to people like Charles Manson or Ted Bundy. Granted, those are big extreme examples of antisocial. It does not refer to Marilyn Manson. It does not refer to someone who's gothy and awkward or cynical or iconoclastic or just socially odd. In fact, people who truly are antisocial are very often overtly charming, glib, adept at getting people to like them. In fact, I had a professor in graduate school who was a forensic psychologist, and she said to me once, well, the whole class that I was in, someone who is truly a sociopath, which is more or less a synonym for being antisocial, is the kind of person where after you're done talking with them, you quite like them, and then you remember all the awful things that you know that they've done to other people. So why do I want to make a video on the misuse of the word antisocial? Well, for one, I think that using words correctly is good by itself. That's the only justification I need if you ask me. But if you don't buy that, here's why. When we start to use the word antisocial to refer to people who are gothy and reclusive, introverted, awkward, etc., let's just say reclusive for simplicity's sake. When we start to do that, we create a lot of confusion. And in my previous video, I discussed how I notice a lot of the time that people seem to think that social introversion is some kind of mental health problem. See where I'm going with this? Because introverts very often get called antisocial in common conversation. I've seen it countless times. And I know where people are coming from, and I know that they don't mean any harm and probably don't necessarily know the whole, thing. But it's just like, to me, because I want to say, do you realize what you're saying about that person? And then people see things like, oh, that person has antisocial traits and that's a really big deal, or they have antisocial personality disorder, or they're a sociopath. They start hearing about all this stuff, and then they start to equate in their minds people who are gothy and weird and things like that, people who are reclusive, they start to equate it with truly antisocial traits. It can cause a problem. And I think it's also contributed to this representation of people in our culture who are reclusive as being mentally ill, frankly. And it's just not true. It's not fair. It doesn't really line up with what antisocial really means. So this video is mostly just food for thought. Thank you for hearing me out. If you want to read a little bit more on this subject, you can check out my new blog and my post on this video. I'll be making posts to accompany each of my videos from here on out. There's been a few requests for that blog, so cattail. We'll let you say hi to the cat before I leave. So here's my cat Mecca. Let's see if I can get her to say hi. She's antisocial, let me tell you that. All right, well, thank you. Take care, and thanks for listening. Please feel free to subscribe and share if you are so inclined. Otherwise, we will see you next week for my next video.